So I was originally going to call this show How I Changed Hollywood History, a true story of travel, money, and passion. I didn't think the Joan Crawford name would have that much of a cachet, except for maybe the gentrification group, the older group, but looking at this beautiful audience, I can see that I'm wrong. And then when I saw that that Feud, the miniseries, was such a big hit, I said, I'm going to own my Joan. So how could I have changed Hollywood history? No, I wasn't the one who pitched Donald Trump to be the star of The Apprentice. I wouldn't have admitted to that anyway, and we know how that ended. And I wasn't the one who blew the whistle on Harvey Weinstein, or Kevin Spacey, or Tom Cruise. Just wait. We just don't know which side he's going to go on. But I did. But I was an accountant. Oh, so he's the guy from Pricewaterhouse who gave the wrong envelope last year. No, I wasn't. And if I was there, that would never have happened. Because I always that was my dream, was to work for Pricewaterhouse. Having no talent at all, I was going to work for Pricewaterhouse, move to California, walk out on that stage with that briefcase. A producer would look at me and say, that's the star of my next blockbuster. Just like Lucy Ricardo. Didn't happen. Wound up that I did work for Pricewaterhouse, lasted a year, hated it, didn't know what I was doing. So took my survival instinct, quit before I got fired, and went halfway around the world to Abu Dhabi, to the Middle East, to cover my tracks. And that's where this story begins. It's 1992, I'm living in Abu Dhabi, and this was before Facebook, before email, even before Al Gore invented the internet. And so the only way I got information was a bi-weekly courier, which had all the important information. I got the National Enquirer, I got People, I got Us, and my father would cut out columns, the Cindy Adams and the Liz Smiths from the New York Times, Post, and the Daily News. Okay, I'm going to pay for that invoice. Don't worry. Oh, the courier. I wonder what Liza's doing now. Always like to find out what gay man Liza's marrying and what food Elizabeth Taylor is devouring, what song Roseanne is ruining. Don't expect Christina Crawford to be anywhere near Christie's East on June 19th. Her mother, screen legend Joan Crawford's belongings will be up for auction that day. Items highlighted in the collection are her Marabou boas, sweaters, correspondence, and her Best Actress Oscar for the performance of Mildred Pierce. Wow, I could own an Oscar anyway. I couldn't earn one, I may as well try and buy one. I wonder how much it would go for. Maybe $25,000. I knew that the Best Supporting Oscar had been purchased a few years earlier for Best Years of Our Lives, but I had no idea how much it went for. Oh, I want this. I can have it. Okay, I'm paying that invoice. So it was more than a coincidence that the next day I called up my friend Sandy back in the States in Connecticut. Hey, how are you? Good, your ears must have been burning this morning. Why? Well, we were watching the Today Show and they were having a segment on Joan Crawford's collection. It's up for sale next year. Oh my God, yeah, I know, what about the Oscar? Well, they were showing about the boas and they were showing about her correspondence. Yeah, but what about the Oscar? She continued to talk about other things. She'd been sick for a while, but I honestly didn't hear a word she was saying. I'm sure she was telling me about her health care, but I didn't care. All I cared about was the Oscar. Okay, well, I guess I'll talk to you soon. Wait a minute, before you go. The Oscar. Can you call up Christie's, find out how you could bid on it for me? I really think if it was on the Today Show today, this is going to have tremendous media attention. I could actually be on TV if I get this. E.T., Entertainment Tonight. Oh, okay. Yeah, can you do that? And can you also find out how much the Best Supporting Oscar went for? That'll determine if I think I can get it. Okay, thanks, bye. So the next day I went into the office And I was talking to the guy I worked with, Jeff, and I was telling him, hey, I'm gonna try and buy this Oscar. I think I could probably get it for like $25,000, but I'm sure it's gonna be tremendous media coverage. And I'm gonna have somebody bid on it. Now my boss walks in, he's not the brightest bulb, but even the dimmest dimmest bulb can shine some light onto something. And I didn't want him to know that I was thinking of this because I'm the finance manager of an oil company. It's not the best economic thing to do to buy an Oscar. And I really didn't want him to know that I was thinking about this. But he looked at me and he was like, well, wait a minute. If you're doing this for the publicity and you're not even gonna be there, your friend is the one who's gonna get the publicity. Why don't you just spend the extra $2,000 and fly to New York anyway? Hey, he was right. So I thought about it. I said, okay, I'm not gonna buy a ticket until I find out what the Best Supporting Actor Oscar went for. But if I was gonna go home, I was gonna be staying with my father, so I better call him and warn him. It's amazing what parents can do to you. The guilt trips that they put on you is amazing. You know, they know what buttons to push because they're the ones who put the buttons in there to begin with. So I called, hi, it's me. Me who? Your son? Oh, fancy hearing from you. The guilt is always the first thing to start. He continued to talk about the latest James Patterson book he was reading. He actually read the entire grocery receipt of the day's purchases, including how much he saved and the coupons that he used. But we don't own a cat. So at the end, he's like, okay, well, see. I said, no, wait a minute, Dad, wait. Remember you sent me an article about the Joan Crawford collection? I don't pay attention to any of the crap that I send to you. Well, it's up for sale next week. I might be in New York. I know it's Father's Day weekend. I'll be staying with you, but honestly, I don't know how much time I'm gonna have to spend with you because I think I'm gonna be on the TV and the radio, so I think it's gonna be a huge publicity junket for me. Okay, I don't understand you. Okay, goodbye. So basically, I'm waiting around and I'm hoping to find out how much the Best Supporting Oscar went for. And just at that point, the fax arrived.
Facts.
Well, yeah, a fax. $5,700. $5,700. That's all it went for. Oh my God, if it went for only $5,700, I got it. Give me an O, give me an S, give me a C-A-R. What's that spell? I want an Oscar. Give me an A, give me a C, give me an A, give me a D. Oh, you got a point. So I'm all excited, and I'm like, okay, what do? I need to get myself mentally and spiritually ready for this. Okay, I know. Let me flip in my VCR that I bought that I taped on $1 Million Movie of Mildred Pierce. Okay, I'm watching Mildred, and now let me get my Mommy Dearest video and watch the scene where she's actually getting the Oscar. I'm doing everything I can to get this thing in my mind to work, and then I actually owned the script of Mildred Pierce. So I said, okay, I'm gonna read that on the plane. I'm getting my positive energy in. And then all of a sudden, I get another fax. I had owned an apartment down in New Jersey with my ex-girlfriend that was on the market for months. We finally got a buyer. And the proceeds of it, for me, were gonna be $35,000. Somebody up there wants me to have an Oscar. So basically, I'm like, okay, this is great. I'm going to New York. So, you know, just to say, it's not just the Oscar. It's not just Joan Crawford, it's just not Mildred Pierce. Mildred Pierce, think of it. The dialogue, the cinematography, the acting. It's a movie classic. Joan Crawford, what a life of contrasts. Hollywood royalty, box office poison. Golden Tiaras, Waya Hannes. Mildred Pierce, Trog. I mean, she had run the gamut of her career, and then the Academy Award. I mean, there's not another award in this country. It's Americana. You could name 20 Academy Award winners. How many Pulitzer Prize winners, Nobel Prize winners, or Medal of Honor winners? Academy Award really says, hey, you like me. You really like me. So, and I knew that the publicity was going to be fantastic. If Today's Show was there, I knew I was going to do great. So now, I know I'm going back to New York, so now's the call to my father. Hi, it's me. You know, I couldn't even read a page in my book yesterday after I got off the phone with you. All I could think of is, what did your mother and I do to you to make you be the way you are? You are sick. Why? I don't even understand you. Okay, Dad, I'll be home. I'll be home on Friday. Let's see what happens. Okay, so the week zoomed by, got on the plane, got into New York, and I have a friend, Carol, who lives who used to work with me in New York, and she was still in the office. And I said, okay, I'll meet you in the office and we're gonna walk over to Christie's together because we wanna see the collection on Friday afternoon before the auction on Saturday at 10 in the morning. Oh my God, I can't believe you're here. I can't believe I'm here. This is just so crazy. I was like, yeah, I know, I'm really excited. I said, the publicity is gonna be fantastic. And it's just such a great thing. She said, well, she said, what are you gonna do with it? I said, well, it's a great investment. And she said, okay, who are you kidding? If you were homeless living in a cardboard box in the park, you'd be holding that statue until you died. There's no way you're selling this. Yeah, you're right. So we're walking to Christie's, and then I said, oh, there it is. I'm so excited, I can actually smell it. I can smell the Oscar. And she said, what's an Oscar smell like? Success, love, acceptance. So I'm like, okay. So we walk into Christie's, and I've got my gym bag with me, because I had just come in from the airport, and my suit jacket, because I figured I'm gonna be on television, so I had to have a good, nice suit and a nice wardrobe. And since I was going to be going to the auction in the subway and coming back with it, nobody would expect that I'd be carrying an Oscar in a gym bag. So I brought my gym bag, and I had my towel to wrap the Oscar around. Holiday Inn. And so we walk in and we see the people, and they say, what are you here for? I said, we're here to see the Oscar the Joan Crawford collection. Oh, I'm sorry, we stopped that at 3 o'clock. You can't go upstairs. I was like, I just flew all the way in from Abu Dhabi for 20 hours. Please let me come in. Okay, come in. So we walk in, and there's hundreds of items that are going to be on auction the next day. Not just Joan's stuff, but other movie memorabilia. And the woman's like, okay, what are you here to see? And I turn, and there it is on the table. There's the Oscar sitting there, reigning there. And there is the CNN crew filming the Oscar for the Showbiz Tonight segment the next day. I want that. That is what I want. So Elise, the woman who works for the auction house, says, okay, wait until the crew leaves. You can get a better look there. So Carol and I look around, looking at the different auction items, but my eye was always on that Oscar. So eventually the camera crew leaves, and Elise says, you can come over and look. So I stand at the table, and there's the Oscar, and she slowly pushes it toward me. Held it in my hands. It was like holding your firstborn. much do you think it's going to go for? Tremendous interest, tremendous. How much? How much are you thinking? 20? Oh no, it's not going to go for just 20. I guess I could go to 40. That might work, but there's also this other item. It's a bound script, Joan Crawford's original bound script of Mildred Pierce, with her name embossed on it. I was like, yeah, that's very nice. I want the Oscar. So we continued so I talked to her and I said, so what's the press coverage been? And she says, well, as you can see, CNN was here today, just now. Today was in yesterday. Good Morning America was in this afternoon. And whoever gets it is guaranteed a spot on Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous. I turned to Carol, Robin Bleach? I could just picture the Oscars sitting right next to my lava lamp and my Smurf collection. Great. So then I said, so what happens, next year? I mean, if I spend $40,000, what happens next year when the next Oscar comes up for sale? Would mine lose value? And at that point, Elise's boss says, oh no. That is the Oscar to have. After 1950, you weren't allowed to sell your Oscars. So this, and maybe if Bette Davis had won an Oscar for All About Eve, those would be the two Oscars to have. After 1950, the Academy says no more sales. I said, wow, could you imagine having Bette Davis and Joan Crawford's Oscars? You'd have to put them in separate rooms. Have to put them in separate houses. Oh, you'd have to go buy Coastal. And so I said, so basically, if I buy this, he said, the only other Oscar that might go for this for a good amount is Vivian Lee's for Gone with the Wind. But there's no way she's ever going to sell, that her family is ever going to sell that Oscar. So, if I hadn't been sure before, I knew I wanted this thing. So, Carol and I leave, and we're walking, and I said, okay, let's see. Okay, I'm selling the house, probably sell the car. I wanted to join a gym, but since I won't have a car, I'll be exercising, because I'll be walking to work. I need to lose weight, so I won't be eating out as much. Help me if you can. He says, no, I think you're doing well. And I said, you think I'm crazy, don't you? Actually, at first I thought you were crazy. But when I see your face right now, and see you holding that Oscar, and knowing how much you want that television coverage, I know this would be one of the greatest things that ever happened to you. So, no, I don't think you're crazy. I think most people would want to feel the way you do right now, and I really want you to have that Oscar. And I was like, thanks. So you'll be with me tomorrow at 10 o'clock? Because I really need your moral support. She said, yeah. So I go home, and I had already arranged that Sandy, who was the first person I called about this, she was going to be with me. And I go home, I try to sleep that night, don't really sleep. And then the next morning I wake up and I say to my father, hey, look, can I have my bank statements? Because I really don't know how much money I have, so I really need to figure out how much I can spend on this. So I get into my suit, get my gym bag, and I go to the auction. And I have the catalog here of the actual auction item. So I meet Sandy at the on 61st and 2nd, and she stops me immediately and she says, look, I know you're going to lose control. When do I stop you? I said, look, I'm selling the house. I'm not. I looked at my bank statements. I think I can go to 60,000.
Oh my God.
And she's like, okay, I stop you at 60. So I get to the auction house, and it must be seats for 500 people. And we're there so early, we get the second row. And in the front row, is reserved, and apparently that must be the family members and the executor, and a woman is there. My God, it's so good to see, not to me. It's so good to see you, you've grown up so much. Yeah, thanks. What's the response been? Oh, it's tremendous. All the items are getting much more than, we think we're gonna get much more than the reserve. And the Oscar, somebody flew in all the way from Abu Dhabi to bid on this. I turn around looking for somebody in a sheik's outfit and turn to Sandy, I was like, I can't believe somebody else flew in from Abu Dhabi. I was like, they're talking about you, stupid. It's you. Like, oh no. I told them I was going to go to 40,000. I blew my whole thing. But they don't know I'm going to 60. So the auction starts. I've got my paddle. Not this one. But I'm on a budget. I don't spend much money anymore. And so basically there's 22, there's a bunch of items before, and the auctioneer is up there, and so basically her gloves and handkerchiefs, which was supposed to go for $70, went for $700. She had 3 wigs for sale, and that was sold to the man in the back. What are you going to do with them? And then the feather boas was sold to another man in the back. You know where I'm going to be wearing this Thanksgiving at the family dinner. And then, and then, I mean, this is a gay man's, dream. An autographed picture of Judy Garland with the thing, Joan, dear, with all my love. One autograph from one gay icon to another gay icon. $1,900 to the man in the pink chiffon. So finally, the item, it comes up for bid, and the auctioneer and this, well, we all know what this is. The audience had a collective, ooh. I'd like to thank the Academy, and let's start the bidding at $8,000. $8,000, $8,200, $8,400, $8,500. It was rapid bidding, every $200. Then it went to every $1,000, $10, $11, $12, $13. I didn't start bidding until 23, because at that point it started slowing down. 23. She didn't see me. I'm in the second row. 23. 25, 27. I was bidding against an anonymous bidder on the telephone. It was just me and him. 27, 30, 32, 35, 37, 40, 42. At this point, Carol did not know that I was going to 60. She turns to Sandy, what's he doing? He's going to 60. 43, 45, 47. The anonymous bidder goes 50. All of a sudden, common sense came to me. The auctioneer, think what you can tell your grandkids. I'm not married, I don't have children. 52, 55, 57, 60. Okay, didn't get it. Okay, so I did get the script, which one of the family members said was the best deal of the day. I was interviewed by Entertainment Weekly and ET, so I didn't get the Oscar. But what I did get was this story, which is priceless. Do I regret not getting it? You bet. Am I happy that I tried? Double that bet. One of the things that happened was that I was walking out, and the auctioneer said to me, she said, I just want to thank you for such an exciting day. And I was like, thanks. She says, but I just want you to know you would never have gotten it. Money was no object. Elise, the woman who I had met the day before, comes up to me and says, "I'm really sorry." I said, what are you sorry about?" She says, "No, I was the one on the phone with the auction, the person who won it. And there was no price. He used to read lines with Joan. So there was no price, you know, that they were gonna, that was gonna, you know, it was, there was no way I was gonna get it. So how did I change Hollywood history? Well, 6 months later, Vivian Lee's Oscar did go up for sale. It would never have gone up for sale if they had stopped bidding at 20. And it sold for $567,000 to an anonymous bidder, probably Ted Turner, because he owned the MGM lot and he lived in Atlanta. And but I know I promised you a story of money, which was $60,000, travel, going from Abu Dhabi to New York, and passion. But, you know, there's no love scene in here, there's no, but what is passion? Passion is wanting something so much that you're willing to go anywhere in the world for it. It could be a job, it could be a thing, it could be a person. And I felt that passion that week. And I may not have changed Hollywood history, but you all need to find your passion. And it may not change Hollywood history, but I assure you, it will change your life. Thank you.